now tuned in to Hot Topics with Donna. And on this show, we do one thing: keep it real hot. That's honest, open, and transparent. If you didn't know, now you know. So sit back and unwind as we bring the vibe and a little bit of glorious sunshine to your heart, soul, and mind. Your lovely host, Hot Donna, will be with you in just a few moments. But while you wait, go ahead and set an atmosphere of peace in your space. If you can, cut the lights down low, get your hydration on, vibration zone. Cause tonight, you're about to receive some delicious food for your soul. Are you ready? 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 It's about to get hot. You are indeed in the one and only place to be this evening. We appreciate you for joining us, and in just a few moments, we about to turn the heat all the way up. That's right. It's about to go down right now on Hot Topics with Donna. Show your virtual love by smashing that thumbs up and heart icon as many times as you can. And without further ado, I have the distinct pleasure of introducing your host, the one and only Hot Donna.
Hello, everybody. Thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of Hot Topics with Donna. I am your host, Donna Taylor, here live from DTV. Listen. I'm going to go ahead and do my little announcement so I can get to my guest, because a lot of you probably remember I had him for my Valentine's special, but nevertheless, he is here now, and I'm super excited, so thankful. So on this coming weekend, I will be doing red carpet and pink carpet interviews in Fayetteville. The first one will be on Saturday in Fayetteville, and then I will be doing another one on Friday in Fayetteville. If you guys haven't heard, I am now a published author. It has been a long journey, but to God be the glory. This book is called An Imperfect Marriage Saved by Grace. By yours truly, you will get to truly see who I am inside and out. As you know, I've always been honest, open, and transparent, and that's what HOT stands for. Just being honest, open, and transparent with you, with your friends, with your family, because when we are honest, open, and transparent, we can live a life in abundance and be free and not allow people to hold us to our past, our failures, and our imperfections. And so the word that I chose today was faith for this guest. And once we start talking, you'll understand why I chose this word faith, because it takes faith to do a lot of things. It takes faith for me just to get up here week after week, because you guys know I am by far a public speaker, like to be in front of people. I'm always like in the background, but my oldest son reminded me once I started doing this, that was no longer an option for me. So here I am out front. So yes, faith. You have to trust God with everything you do. You have to have faith. If you don't have faith, then you might get weary. But if you have the faith to trust God in whatever you're trying to do, whatever you're doing, whatever your purpose is, you're going to make it. So I'm going to go ahead and bring my guest on, and then we're just going to just have some great fun. Hold on, let me bring him on. Okay, hold on. Yeah, I'm trying to see. Terrence, can you send me an invite? Oh, thank you. Hey, Gina. My niece, I love you, girl. I miss you. Did you get my book yet?
All right, can you see me?
Hey, how are you? I am
I'm
good.
doing
I
good.
am
How are
truly,
you?
truly thankful. I was nervous all day. I was like, we've been trying to do this interview since February.
I know
But
it's been a
we here
journey to
now.
get
You
here,
know,
but
my
we here
friend
now.
told me when I was waiting to get my book published, she's like, it may be delayed but not denied. And so that's how I look at, this interview
That's
with you. But yeah, the word that I chose for you today was faith, because just watching, what you do, you can tell your faith is truly like top notch.
I appreciate it. It has its moments, but I try to keep it as high as possible. Just know that through him, all things
Absolutely.
are possible, and without him, nothing's
Absolutely.
possible.
And so,
You know what I'm saying?
but how do you
To
keep
keep a
your
smile
faith
on
when
my
you get
face.
weary sometimes?
I lean in. I lean in. I have my moments just like anybody else. These last 90 days of my life have been trying, or have been
Absolutely.
challenging, for lack of a
Right.
better word, to be honest with you. But you go through things. I think we all are soldiers at heart, but none of us are exempt to battles and wars
Absolutely.
and adversity. It's just, do you take the adversity and look at it from a standpoint of, oh, well, it's me, or do you look at it and say, this is another test, this is another building block, this is going to take me to the next level, there's a blessing on the other side of it. So I have my moments just like anybody else, but I
Yes,
choose to keep
absolutely.
moving
So
forward.
tell people your name and where you reside, and then we're just going to keep having our, this great dialogue.
Absolutely. Terrence Porter. I reside in the state of Florida now. We just moved here. I guess you could say we're like somewhat Floridians. We just got here maybe 90 days ago. I'm originally from the DMV. I'm from DC. I was born in Virginia, but then I moved to DC when I was 6. So
Oh, yeah,
DC is always going to
absolutely.
be home. Uh, and I just been, really just following my purpose and really grinding it out and just trying to bless people through my message. If my message can hit you and resonate and
Mhm.
touch you in a certain way,
Yeah, and so
that's what
and
I'm here to
that's
do.
like how when I when I started doing the podcast, because I'm not familiar with like this TikTok stuff, and so and like once you get on Facebook, different reels come up and things, and then I came across yours, and I was like, wow, I was like, you always have something so powerful just in little clips, and it's not like a whole, and how did you start doing that? Did you always know, even from childhood up until now, that you wanted to make an impact on the world and just give people inspiration and hope?
I think God is
Mm-hmm.
always
Mm-hmm.
aligning your steps. And I know that I've always been a speaker at heart. Even in, growing up, my mom said, you're going
Right.
to do something with that
Right.
mouth because you're always talking. So even in school, in high
Mm-hmm.
school, I was in the chorus, and I can't sing a lick. I'm gonna keep it honest with you. But I was the one that would start the
Mm-hmm.
auditorium, or I would be the one that would come up in the
Mm-hmm.
front and start talking to everybody. I was in a singing group, and I started, I was the lead talker of the singing group. And I'm telling you all this because, again, it was just my
Absolutely.
steps being aligned. In my little crew of
Mm-hmm.
friends, I was always the leader. When I started working in, the corporate America, or just started working a job, I was always a manager or always someone that would motivate people. So I knew I had it in me. And then I had a blessing of seeing Les Brown,
Mm-hmm.
which I consider a mentor. And when I saw him speak one day, and I
Right.
saw him in a very intimate setting, like it was a classroom setting. And I knew from that day when I saw him speak, I was
Right.
like, that's what I want to do. Like, that is my calling. That is exactly. And my mother has always had a great gift of gab. So
Right.
I get it naturally. I get it naturally, but I just thank the Lord that my purpose is being brought to the forefront, just in a sense of, I went through
Mm-hmm.
a lot of pain in my life to be able
Right.
to give
And
what I'm
and a
giving
lot
right
of times
now.
people don't want to talk. That's why when I started doing this, and I asked my oldest son, and I was like, okay, so what are we gonna call this? Because when we have pain in our lives, sometimes we want to suppress it. But, I talked to my guest last night, and she was just talking about all her traumas in her younger years, and how when we release them and say, God, I no longer can carry these burdens, these traumas. Was you afraid to just like ask him for healing to get to this point? Because and especially men, and I'm not bashing men, but a lot of times we as women, we know we're broken, and so we're quicker than men, if you will, to seek help. But how with you, how did you handle those challenges?
I think that growing up where I grew up, you
Mhm.
got to think I'm 47 years old, so I'm a product of that
Mhm.
90s, 80s era. My mom growing
Mhm.
up in the inner city of DC, normalizing a lot
Mhm.
of trauma, like normalizing a lot of
Right.
things that we probably shouldn't normalize: death, drugs, environment. Thinking that the way we were growing up, this is how it's supposed to be. Now, I'm
Right.
not saying that my mom did do the best she could, because she absolutely did. But when you get older, you
Mhm.
start having your own children, you start having, your way of life. You know that
Absolutely.
some of the things we grew up with
Absolutely.
was not the way
Yes.
it's supposed to be. So I think I turned my
Mm.
pain into purpose. And then, being married, I've been married now for
Congratulations.
15 years. And I've been with
Wow.
my wife for 18 years. When you start getting football numbers in marriage,
Absolutely.
you're going to go through some things.
Absolutely. And and did that make
You're
you
going,
stronger in your, knowing that you had a purpose? Because when you get together, join together, she had her set of values, you had your set of values, but then when you come together, you try to make them work and mesh for you all.
sure. I mean, my dynamic of life is a little different than a lot of people. My wife is a very accomplished
Awesome.
military person. She's been in the Air Force for the
Mm-hmm.
last
Right.
22 years, going on 23. And she's very high level,
That's
documented. Like
awesome.
she's
That is
amazing. I'm super proud. She is have done wonderful things. So the dynamic of me
right.
following my wife throughout the country is a little bit different than
Absolutely.
a lot of other men, because normally it's
Mm-hmm.
the woman that's following the man. Not saying that I'm just totally a unicorn, because there's a lot of men that I met that follow their wives, but our dynamic
I
was a
see
little
that.
different. Um, but our values have always lined up. Our values have always lined up. We've always been in sync when it came to family, values, and our future. And we've had our moments, and even in our
Yeah,
moments,
and
it's made me a better
somebody,
person.
Diane Porter, is
And
that your wife? Diane, your mom, she said, the
that's
goodness
my
of
mother.
God is our strength, refuge and fortress. Amen. Amen. And and that, I mean, and I'm so thankful that she
Yeah,
served, is, serving our country. I was a military brat as well, and my children, both
okay.
one was Marine, one was Army, and so it.
Nice.
Like you said, most of the time it's the family female that's doing the traveling. So how do you handle that? Because I know for me, when they was like, we got to go, I'm like, I was young. I was like 18, just finishing school, and we were like, got to go overseas. I was like, dang, like I'm gonna miss my friends. But how do you handle that piece?
Sure. If I had to be honest with you, I didn't read the fine print, 18 years ago. I didn't know.
Yeah,
I knew I loved this woman. I knew that she was somebody that was
absolutely.
going to make me better. I didn't
Mm-hmm,
understand the whole
mm-hmm.
military lifestyle. We've moved, we've lived in 5 different
Wow.
states in the last 10 years. So, it's
Mm-hmm,
definitely
mm-hmm.
been a challenge. However, one thing that's made it a whole lot easier is that, we
Absolutely.
understand each other. We understand our roles when it
Absolutely.
comes to this relationship. And, I said to myself,
Mm-hmm.
I love this woman. I married this woman. Maybe I didn't read the fine print
Absolutely.
fully. However, this is
Absolutely.
what comes with being with an individual. So, it's a lot of starting and going and a lot of starting over. But, she's been a great support to me. I've been a
Absolutely.
great support to her. We have a great dynamic as far as how
Mm-hmm.
we take care of our children. As when can't be there or I can't be there. We know how to pull it up. And you know, when you kind of have a dynamic that we have, and you hear
Yes.
about families that are stationary,
Yes.
that live in one place,
Yes.
and they can figure it out, we kind of look at that
Absolutely.
laugh sometimes. We're like, we making this look easy with a 9 and a 10-year-old and no family
Absolutely.
support in
And so
different
how do
states.
your
all
children
throughout the-
handle that? Because I know, like, when we first started traveling, you know, like I was still in school, but once you get out of school, it's like you still go with your family. So how do your children handle that? Because I know my brother, you know, he was like, wow, we got to move. And he was still like just in school, spreading his wings.
Right.
So how does that work for you all?
One thing we've been blessed with is that our children are still relatively young.
Yes, they are.
And kids are very resilient. So, you know, our children right now are 9 and 10. And the most dramatic move was probably the last move that we just had. They had a lot of friends. We were in Oklahoma and we came here, but we all were in one accord as a family that we were ready to get out of Oklahoma. So, but we've made a pact that, you know, this is going to be where they're going to finish high school at. So they're going to go from junior high to high school in the state of Florida. And then, you know, that whatever they choose to go on to, let it be college, entrepreneurship, military even, by the time they're ready to do that, you know, they'll have a stable environment to come away from versus us moving again. So now we don't know what the future holds. Military is very unpredictable. We don't know if they could call my wife right now and say, listen, you know, you're out of here. But as of right now, that is our game plan to make sure that they in high school in the state of Florida.
When she deploys, how do you handle that? Because, you know, like you said, you have this unit and then like now everything is solely on you. Do you stress out before the transition happens or you just roll right into it?
I roll right into it now. I think the very first time it was a little stressful, but I wouldn't even say stressful. I don't want to lie to you. I want to say that I was built for it. Like, the last thing she needs to worry about is this household going to be ran adequately, you know, while she's gone. Now, I'm not going to say I pulled up everywhere. I dropped the ball a couple of places. However, it was never a point where she had to worry if those boys was going to be okay, were they going to miss a meal, they wasn't being properly, you know, fed as far as schooling and things of that nature. You know, we've learned, and that's why I always say our dynamic is very special because, you know, her new career step that she's in right now, she has to leave quite a bit. She has to go, you know, across the world, literally, and you know, I'm gonna be here with the boys, but I don't bat an eye at that. I look at that as, you know, that's
and
what
you
we do.
can
Yeah, that's exactly it.
you can
This
give
is
so
how
much
we
hope to, like you said, just fathers that's stationary, that's in the home, because when you have two people in the home working together, it's, you know, you can get it done. And so, you know, like me, just, you know,
do.
becoming a widow almost 3 years ago, like me and my late husband was like together for 30 years. And so we have a 16-year-old. And so like when he passed away, I was like, oh my God, like I never really took her to school because I was in education and he had a job in mental health. So he always took her to school. And then, like you said, when that dynamic changed, I was like, wow.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the kids feel it. You know, you feel it, parent, because it's going to be some things that I can talk to my sons about that's going to resonate, that they're going to receive. And it's going to be sometimes they're going to want to hear from mom. They're going to want to hear a certain way that she speaks to them, a certain way that she can give them that nurturing that I probably can't provide just being a man. Now, I'm going to pull up as much as I possibly can, but, you know, it definitely takes a village.
And so do you have other siblings as well?
I do. I have 3 sisters. One is here in Florida,
So that's
and
good
2
for
are in
you right
Virginia.
now.
So, you know, I got a nephew. So I met my siblings later in life. I met my dad a little late. I'm 47. I met my dad for the first time at 35. Yeah. So that was honestly, it was a blessing. It was a beautiful thing. I mean, it was kind of rocky at first just because, you know,
Right.
I'm a grown man by the time you meet me. You know, like
Mm-hmm.
I'm already here. Like I'm not
Mm-hmm.
coming to you needing anything. I'm coming to you to build something. And we
Right.
both were on one accord. We both agreed that that's where. And by the time I met my dad, and for anybody that's listening to this, by the time I met my
Yeah,
dad, I have lived. I've made
absolutely.
my mistakes. I got my skeletons in my closet. I've been blessed with grace from my wife to
Right,
even
right.
still be my wife. Like I've done things that I probably shouldn't even still be here. So I can look at him with the utmost
Mm-hmm.
of empathy to
Mm-hmm.
say, yo, like I get
Right.
it to a certain degree. So let's
And that's a
start it from right
blessing
here.
that you can say that, because just like you, I was married to my kid's father, and he was military as well. But he he saw them sporadically, and then when my late husband passed, that was the first time that they had been with him. And they're 33, well, 34 and 33. And so it's like they had to
Wow.
have that talk, because for me as a mom, and probably your mom, you try to facilitate these relationships to keep cultivating them. But once they get a certain age, like, you can't cultivate these relationships. You can't. I can't
They need
keep
to
saying,
know.
you're 25, you need to call your daddy, and
Nah,
so and that's
right.
important, because a lot of times, African American men, whether the father choose to leave or whatever happens, I still think there's a level of commitment that at some point they should reunify together, even if you have to hash it out and say, look, I didn't like A, B, and C, but at least you get that chance to heal that piece of you.
Absolutely. I saw the relationship, and I think it's something special between a daughter and a father. But I
Right.
saw that with my wife, and God bless his
Sorry.
soul, we lost my father-in-law, and I know that was like
Mhm.
very, very hard on my wife. But I remember, her telling me, just feel fortunate,
Yeah,
bless you, still got your dad. And me and my dad, I'm not going to sit here and say that we
absolutely.
talk every day or we talk. But when we do talk, it's like we don't skip a beat. He's definitely an amazing man. He's a great man. I thank the Lord that he's in my life. That I can say
Mhm.
that I can call my dad.
Right.
Like that means something. It was a lot
Mhm.
of father days that
Right.
didn't really have value to me until I
Yeah.
became a father, obviously. But now, to
Mhm.
know that I have that connection and that rapport with him, it fulfills something within me. It's not a
Absolutely.
void
And
anymore
does
within
that
me.
make you feel good that, but when you met him, were you able to be honest with him?
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, the first conversation
Hmm.
was more of a
Hmm.
rekindling, so we was excited. But we sat
Yeah.
down and had some real heart to heart, and then my mom
Hmm.
kind of shared some things with me later on, and he shared some things with me later on. So the closer I got to meeting him, the
Uh,
more the whole story came out. And by that time,
it don't even
for
matter.
both of them, I was like,
Yeah.
look, I get it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it don't even matter now. You could have told me this years ago, and this probably we could have
Absolutely.
figured out something
Absolutely.
then. You can't tell me now
Yeah.
at
And
35.
it's funny because
you know,
sometimes, like me, I, you know, was open, honest with my children, but there's always another side of the story where, he looked at things differently the way I did. But at the end of the day, I was able to own up to whatever I needed to own up to, And so when we can do that, then we become better people, because then we don't have any more
absolutely,
baggage, if you will, because like you said, some things we went through, we shouldn't be here, but by his grace and mercy, he still knew we had a purpose, just like your purpose is on this TikTok, and you are just inspiring people. And when I saw it, I was like, wow. And I was like, because now I'm gonna tell you, I was like, well, I'm just little old me. That's what I'm thinking. Like, I thought, you had all these followers, and I was like, well, there's gonna be one in a million chances. Like, I'm just gonna reach out, and and I told my team, I was like, I'm just gonna reach out and say, listen, I want you to be on this platform,
yes, sir.
because you are such an inspiration, and I want to know, how in the world do you come up with this stuff? Does God just give it to you and it just flow out your mouth? Like, because I'm like, wait.
Oh man, it's so many. People always ask me that, and I guess when you become, and I guess I can really declare this now as a content creator, it's so much content that's
Yes.
around us each and every day, right? and I'll find content
Right.
in conversation. I'll find content in someone else's TikTok. They could say something that may not even be the pure basis
Right.
of what the TikTok is about, but I can take that little segment or what they said, and I can create a whole video off of it. But to be honest with you, if I just had to be just brutally honest, full transparency, I went through a storm with my wife. It was a rough time,
Oh no,
and I'm not
absolutely.
telling our business.
Right.
I'm telling our story. We went through a moment, and I've always had a presence on social media. Like I had a presence from a standpoint of I've been in fitness for a long time,
Mm-hmm.
so either I was doing a workout video or maybe
Right.
a selfie, or
Right.
you
Right.
may see the kids, but it really wasn't anything that will make you say I'm
Right.
following him for a purpose. I'm following him because
Right.
he's like a cool dude, but I'm just, outside of that, then every now and again I give you a motivational meme, or
Right.
I may say something motivational. But when I came back to social media, because I
So
took
you
like almost
probably
six
went
months off,
off
but when I
after they
came back,
hacked your page.
well, no, that
Okay.
was a little bit before, a little bit before. And when they hacked my page, that was, oh my goodness, that was just the worst. But
Mhm.
when I went away and I came back very deliberate.
Right.
I came back with purpose, and I came back centered. I told myself when I come back,
Yeah.
I'm going to give a message. Now, if you
Yep.
receive the message, great. If you don't receive it, great. Because I'm getting what
Right.
I need to get off of me off. Like I
Right.
got to get this
Absolutely.
out of me right now. And when I first started posting, and TikTok was new to me. So when I first started posting, I'm talking about maybe 8, 15
Right.
views. Like it was low, but I
Absolutely.
didn't care.
Yes.
Like that wasn't my purpose. That wasn't, like I just wanted to
Absolutely.
get what I needed to get off. And I was watching a podcast one day, and it was called Social Proof. And he said, stop worrying about the message, stop worrying about the lighting, stop worrying about how you look,
Absolutely.
and just post. I want you to post something every day. And I
Hmm.
just felt like God was talking to me, and I just started posting each and every day. And one day, one
Yeah.
video just caught fire. And when it caught fire, it caught fire. Like it started on a Thursday. By Monday, I was at like almost 200,000,
Wow.
300,000 views. I didn't even
Yeah.
know how to take it all at first. And then, but even with that,
Yes.
I kept going. And I think what we fall short in a lot of places is that
Hmm.
we get a
Hmm.
sense of success,
Absolutely.
like we've
I,
arrived, right?
I agree. Yeah.
and I and I kept going, and my wife was looking at me. She was like, "Something is happening," because all my girlfriends are texting me saying they're seeing your videos everywhere. So I just kept going, and I just
Yeah.
heard God telling me to stay consistent, and that has
Hmm.
been consistent since. I keep on doing what I do, and then I just get a message, I get a subject
Yeah.
matter, and I just
And
speak.
when
I
do
just speak it.
you do your messages? Like, is there different times when it's just saying the Holy Spirit is saying, I need you to get this out? So do you have a certain time you do it?
So yeah, because at one time it was a little bit sporadic, and
Right.
it's still, if it hits me, I'll do it. I may not
Right.
post it, but I'll record it. But now I try, because I do have a lifestyle of we got to take
Absolutely.
care of the kids, the household, work schedule, so forth. So you may see on a Thursday, I may not post anything, but then I'll shoot
Mm.
maybe 4 or 5 videos. And then that next Monday, you'll see me probably in the
Right.
same shirt with a different message, but I did 4 or 5 videos. And right when I get the thought, whatever the thought may be, whatever the message I want, I just
Wow.
put it in my phone immediately. I
Yeah.
used to
Yeah.
try to like memorize it. So now I just put it in my phone. I
Hmm.
make sure I keep it on lock, and then right when I go back to it, I'll speak about
Yeah,
it,
I
and then
mean,
I'll
and
record it.
so I saw one recently, the one that you gave the three things that we should do. And I watched it
Oh,
like three
three
times,
things
and
to
I
that.
showed one of my coworkers today. And for me, that was like powerful because it was like confirmation for me. Because, like you said, when people start doing something, they think they have arrived and they feel like, oh, well, I'm here now, So, but for me, I even if I have one person, I said, Lord, that one person may need to hear what I have to say or what my guests have to say.
That's right.
And
That's
this,
right.
your last
That's
one
right.
was truly a reminder for me to keep going, because I will determine if I'm going to quit or keep going. And so even
That's
with
right.
my book,
That's
I
right.
got discouraged, about the cover, but I still go, and like I still try to stay consistent. And that's one thing that I was like, yes, I stay consistent. And so like before, when I didn't have a guest, I used to be like, okay, well, I'm not going, but then I start just saying, well, I'm going to pick topics to talk about. And that's what I do. When I don't
That's
have
right.
guests, I have
That's
topics. And whatever the Holy Spirit tells me to talk about, that's what I do. I do my research and I just keep going.
right. That's right. I think that the
Mm-hmm.
the blessing of consistency is that when
Mm-hmm.
you don't feel motivated, when you don't feel
Yes, we do.
inspired, because we all
Mm-hmm.
have our moments when we just, even if it's a day, like I had a day, not a bad
Yes,
day, but a
yes.
very busy day, and I knew I needed
Right,
to shoot
right,
content. Like I knew, like, okay, T, you gotta
right,
shoot content today. You're off. I
right.
knew I knew I had you this evening, and I shot a video in the car earlier, and I just, I saved it.
I
If you
saw
don't know,
that.
I tore my
Yep,
Achilles.
yep, I saw that.
Yeah, so I had to go physical therapy today, and I shot this video right before physical therapy, and I'm gonna post it tomorrow, so you'll see it. But when I shot, I was like, nah, I don't really like this video, and then I came back to it about a couple of hours ago just to look at it, and I said, man, and this just shows you how God was like, look,
Right,
you think
right.
it's not good, but I'm here to tell you this is good. I got you.
Mm.
I needed you
Yeah,
to press record. Like I need you. You said you was gonna shoot today. I got the
right.
rest. Just press record, and that's what I try to tell people. Like,
Mm-hmm.
if that's your
Yes,
calling, like if this is truly in your
yes.
heart, or what you want to do in this social media era that we live
Right.
in, and it's not for everybody.
Mm.
God knows it's not. And I'm a firm believer that you can't
No.
listen to everybody. You know what I'm saying? Because you lost prophets out here. That's why I never claim preacher.
Mm-hmm.
I never claim pastor. I am just here to
Absolutely.
inspire and motivate. I'm a kid from Northeast
I have
DC
family that live
that's
in
trying to
DC.
make good.
My brother
There
lives
you
in
go.
Fort
You see?
Washington,
I'm
and
just
my niece lives in Wardolph.
okay. Okay, we just that's well
Yeah,
before we went to
yeah, but
Oklahoma, we had a
no,
house in Wardle.
but you're truly
Yeah,
right,
I mean,
because
that,
you.
I'm just
Let me ask you this
I'm just
too.
a kid that
Do you ever get content from your wife? Like if y'all having a discussion, or your children, like do some of your content come from them?
yeah. I don't know if you saw my video on emotional intelligence, but I got
Mm-hmm.
a video called Emotional Intelligence. And when I tell you, I'm blessed to have a wife that I have because she has a lot of wisdom. She's a little younger than me, but
Awesome.
she is full of wisdom. And I've been taught a lot of things in my life. I've been taught how to grind,
Mm-hmm.
I've been taught how to hustle,
Right.
how to provide, how to get people to work, how to be a man as far as this woman
Right.
can feel like she can depend on me, she can lean on me. If something happens, she feels protected. Like I was
Right.
taught principles, but I was never taught
Wow.
emotional intelligence. I was never taught.
Mm.
I feel like I'm late to the game when it comes to emotional intelligence. And emotional intelligence means
Yes.
you can process, you can hear somebody
Yes.
without feeling attacked. You can you can listen to this person even though you
Absolutely.
may not agree with them, but your rebuttal can
Yes.
be as calm as me and you are talking. And let me be very clear, full disclaimer. I'm not all the way there yet. And
Well,
I want you to
but
I want
see,
to sit right here and not like I've arrived.
and so
Lord
I mean, and it's
knows
funny
I
that
haven't.
you said that, is because when, like, I'm a communicator. So if I'm feeling something, I need to get it off. I need to express it to, like my partner, whatever. But like you
Sure.
said, your mindset is like, I don't like this. I don't like where it's going. But it's not an attack. It's just saying, hey, this is what this is what, is happening. But how do you work on that? How do you say, okay, all right, Terrence, let me just, hear it.
Yeah. I just try to hear it, take a step back before I respond to it. and again, I'm not going to sit here. I haven't arrived. I still fall short in this. However, I try to identify with it. Like I know that my wife is always
Yeah.
like, listen, if you just listen, you know, just listen to me. And then, but I will say this, and I got this from TD Jakes when it comes to emotional intelligence.
Yes.
Timing is everything. You can have the right message, but delivering it at the wrong time, and it's going to fall on deaf ears. It's going to fall on deaf ears. It
Right.
could be
Right.
absolutely right. It could be 1000% on point, on target, but if the timing is not right, you just got to know the timing of things. And I think I'm trying to understand how to present things at a timely manner. And again, you know, when you're married, this is a constant learning. This is a learning each and every day. So emotional intelligence is something that I just constantly, I know I take effort to try to master or just try to become better each and every day.
Like when your wife is gone and you're doing your messages, do you ever like write her little messages of inspiration?
Oh yeah. So sometimes when you'll hear like the I love you messages or you believed in me messages or I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you. Now I know a lot of people would love to hear that from somebody. So when I speak those messages, I'm talking to you the way I would want somebody to talk to me. So I want to be very clear. But my wife is 1,000,000,000% of the driving force of those particular styles. That is me talking to her. And she kind of knows it. She knows it's subliminal coming towards her, but she inspires those
And so
messages
how
all
do
day
you
long.
all handle, or should I say, how do you handle when, you know, I know you probably get this all the time, when women come to you in the wrong way? You know what I'm saying? How do you cut it off, and how do you keep that like, hey, I'm only here to deliver a message?
Sure. I think that let me tell you something real. Like one, my wife is crazy. Two, two, I think we have had enough of those episodes that we're at a point where, you know, it's so much maturity and growth that's come from that. But one phrase that I wish I had learned earlier in life, and I was live yesterday talking about this, and it's funny you asked this question. And I pray this a man sees what I'm getting ready to say and really leans into this. I heard this phrase maybe 2 years ago, but I wish I had heard it 20. I can't control what I attract. I can't control that. What I attract is what I attract, you know? So whatever comes my way, comes my way. I can't control what I attract, but I can control what I entertain.
Say it again. Say it what?
And that's a bar.
You can say it one more again. Like they say in this, you know, sound one more again. Just say it one more again.
I can't control what I attract. I can't control that, but I can definitely control what I entertain. And now I'm at a point I just don't entertain it. Everybody gets praying hands now. You talking out of pocket, praying hands. Like my video, praying hands. You motivate me, you inspire. Because I get DMs. I get these long paragraphs of DMs that I know if I open that door and entertain it, it can go. I'm not entertaining it. I'm praying for you. I hope it works out. Or they just get 3 praying hands. Like I'm just not. I'm at a space in my life where I gotta have discipline. Because if I don't have discipline right now,
and then
I can lose everything I got.
once you go there, you be like, was it really worth it? Yeah.
Was it worth it?
And that's like me and my friend was talking the other day, and we were saying, you know, like we done did our stuff, done ran the streets, party and all this. And we were saying this day and age when you're getting older, because I just turned 55. And when you start, if you're in a relationship, like you said, it's not going to be perfect, but is it really worth throwing it away, trying to go out here and say, oh, well, because they're not doing A, B, and C, let me just go see what's over here. And then you get twice as worse what you have when you can stay here and say,
Right.
listen, like you said,
I mean,
gotta be the right timing though. Like, hey, I don't like this. We need to fix this
listen,
because right now you playing Russian roulette with your life when you're trying to go out here and intermingle. We were
no,
saying like first it was just the standard, if you will, gonorrhea, syphilis, and all this. Then you had herpes. Then you got AIDS, and now you got monkeypox, and you want to take a chance on throwing a relationship away because you have a disagreement. No.
right. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. I was talking to a friend of mine yesterday, a really close friend, who turned just like 180.
Mhm.
Married, loves his wife. I mean, I know this. I know his wife. I know him. And we were just
Yeah.
talking about discipline. We were like, look, man, it's not worth it. It's just not worth messing around doing these things anymore. Like, I mean, we human, we make, I'm
Right.
not gonna say and play perfect, but I do know that I'm not jeopardizing
No. No.
my livelihood right now on something that, because you're gonna deal with this problem or you're gonna deal with a new
And
problem.
like you said, a problem is a problem. So did you know?
A problem is a problem. And if we all threw our problems in one big pile, I bet you'll grab your problems right back.
Absolutely. Because you know what? At the end of the day, I feel that there's no relationship that cannot be fixed. But it takes two people to want to fix it.
Absolutely. Yeah. And you gotta know like someone's threshold. Like if you've been given grace so many times, that grace
Yeah.
ATM gonna run out at some point. Like you can't, and it's not fair to the person. It's not fair to the person. So, my wife has definitely given me a lot of grace. I know that the younger Terrence
Mhm.
definitely did some things I probably had no business doing.
Absolutely.
But you grow, you mature. I think my age
Mhm.
plays a huge part in my life now. Like I'm closer to 50. Like I gotta really start
Right.
having more calculated,
Right.
steps towards making sure that my
Mhm.
children
Mhm.
legacy, my family's legacy, our
Absolutely.
legacy as a couple. We got so many variables fighting
Absolutely.
against us in this world. Like social media
Yeah. Yeah.
is a gift and a curse. I mean, you see so many relationships right now that's just going through divorce, and
Yes,
I'm talking about the
yes,
high
I saw
major
that.
public,
Yes, I mean, and because I feel like people when it don't work, they just say, "Oh, there you go," just throw in the towel. But then you find
right,
it's like a revolving
right.
door. You meet somebody else, and then hey, it may not be the same problem you had, but it could be something worse. And then what are you gonna keep doing? Just jumping in and out of relationships. And like for me, I was with this
Sure.
person for 30 years. And so it's like, getting back out here, it's like, woo, like this is
I'm quite sure you're going through
because
it.
I mean, like you said,
You're going
the
through.
people, and most of the time men are not set up like they should, and that's no judgment. Like you said, they're not being held accountable.
Man, listen, y'all are winning. And when I say y'all are winning, and I mean, and I know some men may agree or disagree, but when it comes to the black woman, I'm specifically talking about the black woman right now. You lead in education. My wife is upstairs, right? Well, not right now, but
Wow.
she's studying for her master's now. You lead in education. You lead in home ownership.
Yeah.
You lead in entrepreneurship. You make way more money than most men right now. And I don't think that it's solely the man's fault. I
Right.
don't want to be like it's all the system, but we've had barriers. We've had
Hmm.
things that kind of suppress
Right.
us of being, and I
Right.
think the dynamic in the roles in the black community
Hmm.
have been twisted and turned so much that we can't
Right.
identify
Right.
what's what sometimes. Like, let me lead. If I do fall, let's
Yes.
fall together,
Yes.
but let's come up together.
Mhm.
And that's a hard, position to be in sometimes. And being with my wife, who's very accomplished, even I've had my moments of, do I yoke? Do I add up? Do I really come in where she needs me to be? And then all I do is just keep on moving, doing what I'm supposed to do to make sure
Absolutely.
our house is running properly.
Hmm.
And then I find me, like
Right.
IBIM, that's both of us. But when you see me, you identify Terrence with his social media presence, his speaking engagements. I have a life outside of
Absolutely.
her. She has her life, and then we come
Absolutely.
together.
And so
Great, you know what I'm saying?
how do we get our men there? Like clearly you're on your road there because like you said, And just thank God for a wife that he gave you that saw and see the best
Sure.
in you, that say, hey, come hell or high water, we're gonna stick this thing out because it's gonna get right.
It's gonna get right. I think that I just think our men just gotta step up, man. Just step up in the sense of you just want more. You gotta want more. You
Right.
gotta want to do better. That should be constant. I know me, and I'm again transparency. I'm always thinking of how can I be better, and I don't know if this is right or wrong. And some guys may agree or disagree, but I want to make
Absolutely.
my wife proud.
Yes.
I think she's proud of me anyway, but
Mhm.
I want to make her proud of me,
Absolutely.
and I want to be proud of myself. You gotta have
Yeah.
determination for you. But you know, if you work a job, do the best that you do on that job. Don't just work the
Absolutely.
job. Be the best that you could possibly be at the job. If you don't match up educational wise with that person, like what
Mhm.
do you do good?
Mhm.
Find that. Do that. Excel in that. And you know, even in our relationship, my wife has been like, okay, well, here's where you need to go. Here's the next steps. You know, you got to kind of work together in things. And look, that's a perfect picture because sometimes
Mhm.
when you're so connected to a person, you know, they're talking to you, but they know you. You know them. So sometimes, you know, wires get crossed. But I think if the love and the
Absolutely.
intent is pure,
Yeah,
it's
it's
gonna
gonna
come.
come. And so,
Yeah.
how would you tell men to make their spouse or their significant others feel validated? Because, like you said, you want your wife to be proud of you and you know that she's proud of you. But what about those relationships that, whether the woman or the man doesn't, let those people in their life know that they're proud of them? How do they go about that? Because that's very important. Not because you need a pat on the back, but you want to
Right.
know, like, I'm in this, and I want to know if you're in it too.
Sure. And you just don't want to, you open up the door to all that other foolishness when
Right.
you don't validate, you know, for her. Because you're looking for the validation from somewhere and you really
Absolutely.
want it from the person
Absolutely.
that you're closest to. I mean, that's how it works. I think that you got to
Mm.
understand love language, which is
Changing.
constantly changing. But I think it's some values and some
Right.
foundations of love language. Like, you know, you got to
Mhm.
figure out whatever that person love language is, and you got to kind of center on that to say, hey,
Right.
here's how I appreciate you, so
Right.
they can hear you. Because, and then you got to also understand that your love language
Yeah.
is not may not be theirs, so you can't force the
And
way
see,
you
and we
receive
took the
love
test, and
on them.
they were like, I don't believe in that. And I was like, truly, people have love languages. I said, even your children have love language. I said, because if you have one kid that likes quality time and you started buying them gifts, hey, you done jack them up, because all they're saying, I just want the quality time. And like for me, mine hasn't changed. I like quality time and I like physical touch. And when I tell people the physical touch piece doesn't always mean the intimacy piece. It just means like just holding my hand, touching my shoulder. That that's what my love
Yep,
language is. And people, a lot of people don't know their love language. And
absolutely.
then you got a spouse over here that like gifts, and you trying to spend affirmation words of affirmation, and they're like, you got it wrong.
That's right. Right. And you know, I had to learn that. I had to learn that because I just thought my
Right,
love language was the best love language. And it's not. It's the best
right,
love language
right.
for me. And that's the best love language for her. So, you know, you gotta figure it out, but you also gotta be a
Absolutely.
give and a take. I know you like this. So I'm almost
Right,
obligated
right,
in a
right,
good way, not in a bad way, you know, to make sure that I provide this for you.
right.
And vice versa. So, you know, and then you know when you marry long enough and you've been around a person long enough, you'll start to
Mm-hmm,
understand
mm-hmm.
vibes and moments and times and when to present different things and go from there. But as far as a man showing a woman, you know, how they feel about them, I may not be the best example of that because I definitely like my wife. We have our
Right.
moments. We may have things going on, but it's never a point. She doesn't think I think that she's the most
Absolutely. You
beautiful
do have
woman
a
in the world.
beautiful family.
Beautiful. Yeah.
Yes. You do have a beautiful family. And congratulations to your
um,
son that he got, accepted for the cross country. Yes. Yes. Yes.
oh yeah, I
Yes.
know him. Man. Yeah, like, he's doing phenomenal. So yeah, I try. I mean, listen,
Right.
words of affirmation. That's just what I do.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, you can hear that through my right. So that's naturally who I am. So that's not something that I have to put effort into. But if she loves acts of service, that's
Absolutely.
me putting effort. And you know, somebody can see that you're putting
Absolutely.
effort towards what they like. I think that they that resonates differently. That hits them differently because they know that you're going outside the box. Like my wife will always tell me I'm not a planner. Like I'll take a more of a conscious effort.
Yeah.
Again, I haven't
Yeah.
arrived. Lord knows I haven't arrived. But so
Right.
we live in Florida now, so now we have more outlets to say, hey. And since my Achilles has been down, we haven't had the full chance to experience it. But once that's back, you know, it's so many ways that
Yeah.
we can like have date nights and things of that nature. So you just got to find the balance, find it, and try to keep the communication as
Absolutely.
strong as you possibly can. And just understand whatever's going on is just a moment and you're going to make it through. But I ain't going nowhere.
And
You ain't
so for
going
you,
nowhere.
how important is date nights to you or to her?
Oh, date nights is critical. We haven't had one
Right.
because, again, of what's going on with me. I will take the blame for that. But we have a
Yeah.
lot of family nights. And, you know, the boys with this, but we still find peace and malice. I
Yeah.
mean, peace and joy in that. Because we with the boys and we might go to a restaurant and sit down and eat. But date nights is definitely important, man. Throw an outfit on, get fly. Like, I like to get
Right.
fly for her. You know, like she came in
Right.
today and
Right.
said something about my outfit. You know, that kind of like, you looking at me. So, you
Yeah.
know, I
And
still
that's
get giddy.
awesome.
I still get the giddy feeling when, yeah, when, you know, because I always tell her if I can't get that way with
Absolutely.
you, then who else, you know, like who else
Right.
can I get with? So I still look
That's
at her,
awesome.
like get
That is
excited when
truly
I see her
awesome.
and things that and
Yeah.
those are like the little
Yeah.
things that you just
And
gotta
that's
have.
like you said, that comes with growth, that comes with knowing your partner, you know, and especially if that's what they're telling you they need, and then you don't make the effort to do that, then like you said,
Right.
that leaves room for creepers to come in and creep.
All kind of foolishness.
You
Right.
know what I mean?
People say come in
You
and
know,
creep. Absolutely.
so and I mean, and you know, but but on real talk, when Satan see a little crack, that's all he need. He need that
Oh, he
little
gonna
crack,
jump.
and then he can slither in. You know, and so that's why we
Absolutely.
have to be diligent
Absolutely.
about protecting our space, our people.
Yeah, I definitely agree.
And so
I definitely
before we leave
1000%
you,
agree.
one post you wrote, you said, change is inedible. Inedible growth is optional.
That's right. That's real. Change is inevitable. And what I mean by that, no matter what goes on
Yeah,
in this world, it's constantly changing. Think about it. 2 years
yeah,
ago, we went in a lockdown. 2 years before that, we couldn't even
no,
foresee something like that ever happening. That was the
right.
last thing we all were thinking. The whole world shut
Yes,
down. Our lives changed forever. Um, we went through racial and
absolutely.
social injustice, and I mean, the
Hmm.
world was just
Hmm.
on its ear, right? We went through a very, very detrimental time, and now we're almost somewhat
Yeah,
back,
yeah,
but it's still a change.
yeah,
It's still a new way, you know. So we're changing and changing. But I think the growth aspect is: are
mm,
you growing with the change? Are you developing? And
yeah,
that's optionable. You could stay stuck, you know. I got family members and friends that you know still stuck in the early 2000s and you know still stuck in the 80s in
yeah,
some ways. But the world is constantly moving and you got to
yeah.
evolve and you got to grow with it. And I think that if you don't choose to do that, that's an option. But I
It's gonna
promise you, the
get
world
to
will
you.
keep on
It's
spinning.
not gonna wait
The
for
world
you.
will keep on changing. Now,
No.
it's not going to wait for you. So you gotta evolve and
Yeah.
you should almost want to. You should want
Mm-mm.
to. You should want to grow. Like
Me
I get
too. Me
excited
too.
about my growth. I get
Yeah.
excited that I'm
Yeah.
not the same Terrence, you know, that I was 2 years ago. The friend I was talking to yesterday, first thing he said to me, because we haven't talked in over a year. First thing he said to me when I got on the phone with him yesterday was, "If you came across my page, you need to hit us there." Like he said, right? But he also followed up with, I ain't gonna lie to you. When I first started seeing your
Right, right,
videos, because he knows me.
right,
Like
right,
he knows me. Like he knows what a military. Like
right.
he's like, this is my guy, my guy. And like when I first started seeing the videos, bro, I'm not gonna lie to you. I thought it was corny. I was like, what is this dude doing? Yada yada
Mm-hmm.
yada. And then he said, I started listening, and he said, man, you
That's
really out here doing
awesome.
God's work, and I
That is
really
awesome.
see your growth.
Mm-hmm.
So for him to say that to
Mm-hmm.
me after he's known me for so many years goes to show you that
Absolutely.
you gotta grow, and you gotta be okay growing, and you gotta be okay with who doesn't see your growth, because
No,
everybody's
no.
not gonna see it.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
Everybody's just not gonna see it, and that's okay. That's totally okay. Like long as I got my core,
Yeah,
I got my family,
yeah,
I got my close knit
yes.
friends that understand where I'm, and I'm good. You know what? It's crazy that I could be on this social media platform and I could meet so many people and impact so many lives, and I can have the closest friend that I've known for 15, 20 years that just can't let go of. Nah, that ain't you, because I know you. And
Terrence,
I'm like,
I'm
nah,
telling you,
bro, I'm
yes,
still me. You know the
everybody that
old
I
me.
have interviewed, we say the same thing because they want you to stay stuck in 2000, but when they know you're changing, they know that if he changed, he's not going to be stuck with me here anymore. And- But
Mm-hmm.
I have gotten
Mm-hmm.
more support from strangers. And because you
Absolutely.
know why? Because we
Absolutely.
think the people that's supposed to support us going to, but when the reality hits and they don't, then you have to shift another way. It doesn't mean it doesn't sting, but I remember my late husband always told me, he said, stop looking for people that you know to support you. He said the people that you least expect, those are the ones that God is going to send to support you and get you where you need to be. He said because you can't look for the
That's the
people,
truth.
the familiar, if you will.
Absolutely. And you got to be, again, I know I keep saying it, but I'm going to say it again. You
Yeah,
just got to be okay with it. I remember when I first started, man, I was getting DMs like with the Kirk Franklin, with
yeah,
like I was
yeah.
getting clowned. Because people, I mean, one thing about press and
Hmm.
record on this social media space,
It does.
it takes a lot of courage. It takes a lot of courage when you press record and you put
Yeah,
yourself, you're
yeah,
almost naked
yeah, yeah.
out to the world. Because
Hmm.
I'm putting this
Hmm.
message out and you know me. Like, what? Like, who is this? And
Yeah,
it's like, it's always been me.
absolutely,
I just shifted.
absolutely.
I just made a shift. And now I'm in my shift. Now I'm going
Hmm.
to this place that I know I'm supposed to be.
But
I would love for you to be there to say, you know what, my man, I got him. But if you're not, I
absolutely,
still got love for you. I
absolutely.
just
That's
gotta
and
keep
that's
moving.
and that's how I am now. And I'm thankful, like you said, for my group of friends that constantly remind me, you got this. You're gonna have,
Sure.
haters gonna come, and even like with this book, and I tell people, thank you for buying it. Thank you if you thought about buying it, and if you don't buy it, I still thank you. So like either way, it's still good. And I call one of my friends and I say,
That's right.
I had saw somebody had posted, about my book or whatever. And then their reply was, girl, bye. And I was just like, wow. But you know what?
See?
I still was like, it's
See?
all good because at the end of the day, when
It's
people
all
come to disrupt you, Satan doing his job. All we have to do is stay on our course. And like I
sure.
said, I have been through too much, suffered too much to allow people to say what I can and cannot do because my faith is in my Father, not you. Because when He tells me to go, I go. Whatever He tells me to do, I just do it. And I say I will serve Him whether mama leave, brother leave, whoever leave. I'ma still stay. I'ma stay connected to Him.
That's right. That's right. Whoever said boy bye to you just knows they are
Amen.
just stuck in the old you. They just know you for wherever you were the last time you and that person probably ever talked, or whatever the last action was. I got a really close friend of mine, like a really, really close friend of mine. We've had some moments.
Hmm.
Still love him. That's my guy, like my brother. Like I love him. And where he is right now, I
Absolutely.
meet him right there. I am. You can ask any one of my friends if you tell me that you are starting from right here to become whatever you're about to
Hmm.
become, good,
Hmm.
bad, or indifferent, whatever it is,
Absolutely.
I'm gonna meet you right there. I can't pigeonhole you
Absolutely.
to what you used to be. Even the track record may say something different. Now that's up to me to say, hey, I'm gonna continue this relationship with you. I may move differently with you, but I'm gonna meet you where you are right now. So that young lady that said, girl, bye to you, she just can't let go of the old you. But you can't sit right there and try to pull her along.
No.
You just
And
got
the
to
thing
keep
about it is, we have been cordial. We never like hung out. But you know, I told my girlfriend, I said, I'm ready for those daggers. Because like me, I move in silence. When God told me to post, I post. Whenever I'm doing something, I always move in silence. Not because I'm trying to hide it. It's just because I need to stay focused and not allow people to get me distracted. And you know, social media can do that. So when I started posting myself and doing my thing, like even with this, when he told me to bring it to this side, I was like, really? Because it took me a long time just to do selling jewelry online, because I'm like behind the scene type of person. And my oldest son, he was like, well, mama, he's like, I think you kind of lost that battle, because here you are front and center. And so now I embrace it, but I ask God to give me whatever I need to say. And the people that he tells me to reach out to, like half of them like you. I never even met half of the people I interview. Never.
That's right. That's right. Listen, when you say, I look at it as a privilege. I thank you for even look. I mean, people are on these like billions, and then you know what? I want to interview you. That means something. That I'm not going to take. Now I know it took us a minute to get here. I apologize for that, but I don't. Anybody. Listen. I try my best. If you DM me and say, listen, I want to interview you, I'm gonna take a conscientious effort to try to make that happen, because I know one time it's gonna be a point in my life I'm not gonna be this successful. Like I know I'm not. Like I know God got something bigger for me. So you gotta get down. You better get. I don't even know. You better get me now, because I know it's gonna be a day. But I won't get the people that saw something in me early.
You know, like even with this book, this is me up close and personal, raw, hot, honest, whatever the case may be. But like you said, there's going to come a time. All he's doing right now, he's preparing us. He is preparing us. And I always tell my friends, and they know, the ones that have stayed with me while I was building my foundation and building my house, the day that I arrived, those people that still stuck by me, when they saw me at the level of the foundation, when I win, they win. But when you dropped off, when I was trying to put these windows in,
that's right. Not even the windows. When I was laying down this floor, when I was laying down this cement.
No, and I have my group of girls, and they know who they are. They have been with me, especially these last 3 years, losing my husband. I'm telling you, those have been my ride or die chicks. Those girls have said everything that your late husband said that he wanted to see you accomplish, you are doing just that. And they give me those reminders, because, you know, I have those doubts, like, you know, like, Lord, am I doing it? Like, is he proud? Like, when I published the book, I cried at work. I was crying. And I was just like, wow, he just got to hear the first 3 chapters. And here I am, an author, something that he was seeing me work towards. But my friends reminded me, he's proud. He see you. Yeah.
That's right.
So, like I said, we ain't gonna always be at this point, because, like I said, when God say it's time to move, it's gonna be some moving and shaking, and the people that are gonna be gone, it ain't gonna mean we better. It's just that now, when I was just somebody that was doing these motivational speakers on TikTok, this girl doing this hot topic with Donna, but now I had to move her from here. I had to move him. So now, you can't get some. And that's the beauty of it, because when we're doing what we're called to do, he will move us in places that we never even dreamed of being.
Absolutely. Yeah. I definitely agree with you.
And that's why I love what I do. I meet people, and like, you know, just like you, people come on my live, they tell me things, they're like, I've never shared this with anyone. But it's not me.
Well, you're very inviting. So
Yeah.
I feel comfortable, and which is always good. And it makes the interview even more enjoyable for the listener because it's
Right.
authentic, pure, it's
And
coming
and
off.
people, when I
People love
feel
that.
like you want to interview, they be like, "Girl, what we gonna talk about?" And they be like, "You got questions?" I'm like, "No questions," because that's not how God gave it to me. Because this platform is for people to be honest, open, and transparent, so people can see. We're not airing our dirty laundry. We're just saying that there have been a period in our life that we haven't always had it together, and there's still times in our life that we still don't have it together. But yet and still, people want to see real. I can give you a script and you can sit on here and we can be prim and proper, but how are we helping people? How are people getting delivered and free?
That's right. You are
Yeah,
absolutely right. You are 1,000% right. If I can't be
yeah,
authentic, if I can't be real, and listen, real with respect. You don't want to like come up here and
right,
air out your dirty laundry to the point where the person that you're
right,
dealing with may not
absolutely.
feel comfortable with it. But I'm a firm believer in telling you,
That's
not telling your business, but telling your
that's
story.
the difference. That's the difference.
That's the
That is the
difference. Telling your
difference.
business, not me telling
Right.
you,
And
not telling,
people look
telling
at
your
you and be
story.
like, dang,
Absolutely.
what he's going through. But we all had our struggles. And sometimes we still have
All of
struggles,
us.
There's some days that I'm just like, I don't
Absolutely.
want to do this adulting thing. I just want to just do what I want to do. But you can't do it because
Right.
you
You
got
ain't
little
never.
people or you got significant others, and you just can't be wilding out.
Can't be wild. That's right. I think for so many when I make a decision, so I got to be more calculated. But that's
Yeah,
spirit. That's maturity.
yeah,
That's growth. Because before, when you was thinking solely for yourself, you were reckless. You were just moving. I know. Golly, it's probably some nights I probably shouldn't
right.
have been where I
And
was
and
supposed to
that's
be,
like,
but I'm still there.
I
So
told my girlfriend, I said, God had us even when we was out there acting crazy. Crazy.
that's right. That's right.
He had a bigger plan.
Because he had a
So
bigger
give
plan
us,
for you.
I don't know if you can do it right off the top of your head, but I need you to give that one last slogan that you said. You don't enter the one you
If you
said
can
you don't
approximate.
entertain. How you say it?
Oh yeah. You cannot. Okay. Listen. You
Yeah,
cannot
right.
control what you attract, but you can definitely
I
control
love
what
that.
you entertain. That is critical. That will bless your life. If
Yeah,
you really can internalize that, if you can really take that. If I had learned that so much earlier in my life, because in my mind, I had to
right, right,
entertain the circus. I had to be the clown, like, oh, you look nice today. Thank you. Thank
right,
you could have been just thank you and keep walking. It ain't gotta
right,
be rude. It ain't gotta be come back and talk about it. No, listen.
right.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Keep it moving. I don't have to
Because
entertain
then
this
it goes to
conversation.
another conversation.
I'll shut things down quick. Oh man, I will shut it down so quick right now. Praying hands.
So leave our viewers with
Praying.
something encouraging, just to keep continue their week, and just for them to just say, "Wow."
Absolutely. Listen, this is just on my heart. It's been on my heart for the last few weeks. I'm just going to leave it with you. Just stay consistent. And when I say stay consistent, I don't know what you are pushing towards. I don't know what you're trying to do. But whatever it is, each and every day, chip away at that foundation of it. Chip away at it. Just keep going and being consistent. If it's doing a blog, if it's writing a book, if it's doing something on your job, if it's opening that business, if it's getting that degree, be consistent. The consistency is going to bring the inspiration, the motivation, because you're not going to have that every day. But if the more you stay consistent and you see a little glimmer of light, that light can get bigger. And the more the light gets bigger, the more you're closer towards
Keep
that end.
going.
Just
Keep
keep
going.
going.
Well,
Stay
I
consistent.
thank you so much. I was so excited because I was like, I hope we don't get canceled today because
Nah,
but I
no
thank
problem.
you so much. Continue to just allow God to use you how He's doing, because you know whether it's one, whether it's 1,000, you're getting that encouragement that people need, and sometimes you may be that only glimmer of hope that they can resonate with. And just stay the course.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Stay
ma'am.
the
But I will
course
keep
and tell
going.
your
I
wife
promise
thank you,
you.
thank you, thank you, your family for taking the time out to interview with me. Um, I'm gonna see you in lights. We're gonna see each other in lights one day.
You would.
One day, it's coming. It's coming.
You would.
Thank you.
I
Thank
appreciate you
you.
having.
Have
Thank
a
you
good
so
night. And I
much.
think you just have to sign
Right.
out, and then I'll close out.
Okay. Let me just say this one thing.
Yeah.
Follow me on Instagram at Mr. IBIM, at TikTok at Mr. IBIM. And if you want to book me for any future events, if you want to have me at a speaking event, please just DM me on any format.
Your mom says every day is a blessing.
All right.
Absolutely, absolutely. It was great talking to you. Yes.
That's my number one fan.
You
All
too.
right.
Bye-bye.
Have a wonderful day. Bye.
Thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of Hot Topics with Donna. Please, if you just now tuning in, go back and watch the replay. Guys, go follow Terrence on TikTok, Instagram. He has some powerful messages for you, for me. Guys, let me tell you, when people are encouraging you and you know it's truly from the Father, that's what we need, because we can all see all this negativity in life, but when we have somebody that can bring light and joy to someone, that's what it's all about. I'm truly thankful for all of my guests that always agree to come on and just be honest, open, and transparent. But guys, one thing I do know, when we trust the Father, there is nothing that he won't do for us. But we have to line ourselves up with him. I love you guys. I will be back next week if God's willing. Listen, like I said, my book is out. It's on Amazon, and it's called Imperfect Marriage, Saved by Grace. Yes, I am an author. I'm trying to take that in, but I'm truly excited, truly thankful that God has allowed me to finish this journey, to finish this book, because this book was written during the time that my late husband was sick. And so before he passed, he got to hear the first 3 chapters. And so, like I was telling Terrence, when I got the email saying that it was published, I cried, because I know that he didn't get to celebrate this part with me, but I'm thankful that I have friends that love me enough that still is sharing these things with me. This is truly a life journey for me. And I'm so thankful that I was able to complete this project. This coming weekend on Saturday, I will be doing red carpet interviews for NC Dopest First Class Award and Fashion Show in Fayetteville. And then on that Saturday, I will be doing a pink carpet interview for I Am Plus Fashion Show. It's a plus size fashion show. So I will be sharing those flyers. If you're local and you want to have something to do, come on out, and you might get interviewed by me, Donna. But most of all, thank you. Thank you for sharing my videos. Thank you for sharing my flyers. But most of all, thank you for just being who you are. I love you. Hope you guys have an amazing weekend. Stay safe, love yourself, and be kind to each other. Bye.